Hi. In this demo, we'll see that when we add validation configuration to the backend, it can be automatically exposed in the frontend to allow a single set of validation rules to be applied across our codebase. So let's start by adding a database. In that database, let's add a table company. We'll give it a primary key ID. And let's add two fields. We'll add a VAT which is mandatory and a name which is optional. This is already a very simple differentiation. If you create a new company, we need to have a VAT, but we do not need to have a name. Let's add an application. And let's open it. We'll have to create an administrative user as always. In the meantime, let's go back to our model. So we have this. Let's add already an interaction for this. So now we can actually list it, create it, and stuff like that. Let's read back to our application. So now we have the application. Let's log in with the user we created. And let's add the page for companies. In that page, we go into edit mode. We want to add the list as a table, and we want to add the create. And let's add it to the cell. We'll remove the ID here. So what we can immediately see is when we hit create, we have a name and a VAT. And let's not fill in anything. We can see that it automatically knows that the VAT is required and the name is not. So if we fill this in, we can proceed. But we can obviously go further than this. Let's go back to our model. Let's take the VAT again. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that it fits a particular pattern. So let's say, because we're based in Belgium, it needs to start with BE, and then it should be followed by only numbers. So we can set this pattern. And let's say we also know that the length should be 12, the 10 digits and BE. So let's update it. And let's go back to our application. If we now hit create, and we do fill in the VAT, but let's start with perhaps something else. Let's do this. As you can see, it currently says that this does not match the pattern. This is obviously not a very user-friendly message, so let's change that. If we go into the form, we take the VAT here, we can actually set a regex label. So let's say the format of this field is BE followed by 10 digits. Okay, let's try that again. We do create, we do something wrong. And as you can see, we now get this. This can obviously be translated as well. If we do fill in BE and then followed by some digits, then we should be hitting the second requirement, so the length. And as you can see, we now have this message. Obviously, all these messages can be remapped to something custom, should it be necessary. And if you now fit the pattern, we can submit the company. So this makes it very easy to have one central truth about validation. So we have one place where we define all the things that make a structure valid, and it can be applied anywhere. It can be applied in the input and output of services. It can be applied in forms in the front end, everywhere you actually use the document. I hope it was interesting. See you next time.